It's geschmack to do the dab. It's geschmack. It's geschmack to do the dab. It's geschmack to do the dab. Okay. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Shkoyach. Unbelievable. Live in Los Angeles, in the valley, in the Chazak Shul. What is this? A Shul? Beis Medrash Center. We have Rabbi Meir Sultan, the Rav, and Rabbi Ari Ben Shushan. It's a big part of the shir. I want to say grace to Rabbi Ari, who's here, world famous speaker and writer. Yishur Koyach. Lilu Nishmas Imi Merosi Ruspas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored by the Kessler Family, refuah shleima for Elisa Tova bas Esther Gronã, who is a cancer patient who was just diagnosed with COVID-19 by Yehudis Wilheim. Gittel tova bas Yehudis Refua shleima by Nechemia Seltzer. I should have read this before. In honor of Andrew Cuomo resigning from office. And soon by you, California. What does that mean? I guess it's some... He's here something? His brother? We shouldn't be doing any political stuff. By Avi Weiss, today's learning zchus for refuah shleima for our dear brother, Yotzvi ben Rivka. The Weiss family is having surgery at Boisai right now, a serious surgery, so please have him in mind. And Boisai, the one and only Harry Shalom. Shkoyach to Harry Shalom for organizing this. Shlomo Lelzarian, come here for a second. Shlomo, happy birthday, Harry Shalom. Aaron Shalom. You are one of a kind. Bobbleheads and Rebelli socks are your game. Congrats on getting Rebelli to finally come to LA. Mazel tov on your birthday. Today is his 35th birthday. Happy birthday to you. Shlomo, get over it. Happy birthday to you. Shkoyach Shlomo. Wow. This is the famous Harry Shalom. Stay here for a second. Rabbi Sai, you have to understand something. The achnosas orchim of these guys. Listen to this. This guy drops off a hotel. I didn't ask for anything. He says, here, take my car. 2 bottles of expensive wine, sushi, pizza. He comes, picks me up at 6:30 in the morning with donuts and coffee. We're going to Shachris this way. Unbelievable. Yishur Koyach Shlomo. All the way from Brachas Daf Beis. Harry, this is for you. Yishur Koyach Harry. Yishur Koyach for the hospitality as well.
My pleasure.
Everything. It's not that. I was sitting at Menches today with my mishpacha, and all of a sudden this pickup truck comes flying by, says beeping. Bottom line is, you're not going to believe this. This is insane. Only in LA. Look at this. There's a license plate here. 8-minute daf license plate. It says all the way around. It says. You know what? Let me show you what it looks like. It's Harry Shalom. Came to say hello. And then he gives it to me. It's a real license plate. And now I have it right over here. Look at this. You know what they're doing in LA? And it comes with the cover. What does it say? It's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Look at that. Yeah, I don't know, in Israel. Drive around, yeah, I'll put it on my car in Israel, no problem. California, love it. Parnas HaChodesh, Michael Benmeleh, married his mother Devora Faige about Shmuel and his father Menachem Mendel ben Elchanan in the marriage to make it Uman Rosh this year. All right. Let's just do a couple of emails here. Here's the picture of Harry Shalom with his pickup truck, brand new pickup truck with the beautiful plates, gewaldige stuff. Does anybody know Rabbi Pesach Waxman? A couple of people. Okay, so he sends regards to his chevra in the valley. I hope some remember me, he says. Okay, some remembered him. Who else do we have here? Abba and Eva Renner. Abba Renner. I made this past Mr. Shabbos in Borough Park Live Shir. Besides for giving me another great cheer, you're kind enough to stick around. Shmooze, allow me to take a short video encouraging my son, Benny, to keep working on his kriyas. Benny waits for the good morning rabbis every morning. He was on a high to get a personal video and rewatch the clip many times. He's asking if I can show it to the Kriya Rebbe. The kid says, a karsa toy for that special recording. My wife and I spent today's shir, Succah 34. Oh, that was yesterday, I guess. Okay, shkoyach. You may not want to read this email aloud, or whenever you get people to start asking you, make personalized videos for them. You might join. Okay. Oh, cameo.com. You guys know about this? Okay, fine, whatever. Best, I read. The only question I have for Abba is, he told me I believe that he lives in Lakewood, and we had a beautiful shir. We had like 100 people in Lakewood, and he wasn't there. I don't know. All right, who else? There's a bunch of them. I don't know which one to read here. Mazel tov on your son's wedding. Weiss Family Yisrael. Jeffrey Remen, and I live in Riverdale, New York. Baruch Hashem, I'm married with 4 children. Balchuva, he's from for many years. Growing up, becoming religious, he didn't like Daf Yomi too much. After listening to your meaningful people episode, I decided to start learning the Daf again with you. I usually listen on Torah anytime. I love the emails. I would like to give you some of my Daf Yomi background. My father took me to see my Shas. I was pushing through. Bekitzer worked until he dropped out a little bit, take a break, and then he watched the meaningful people. There's one phrase from the episode that kept playing over and over in my head. Who does not have a half hour in their day to learn Torah for Hashem? I kept thinking about that line and said, Eli is right. I have time to learn Torah for Hashem. Decided on that day to pick up the daf on Daf Pei Mesechtas Yuma. Fell by on a couple of daf. I kept trying to come back. Registered for Mesechta. Succah, Bez Hashem, I see him. Hashas will be in 7 years after I finish Yuma. Your introductory remarks to Mesechtas Succah were amazing. Shkoyach. Okay, we're in Elul, we try to become closer to Hashem. I can proudly say to Hashem that I'm learning the Daf Yomi and have been committed to it. Thanks to your Aveli. I'm learning on the train and late at night at home after I get home from work. I'd like to thank you for giving the children one of the shirts. Jeffrey Remen. Do we have, you know the guy? Okay, who else? Sincerely. Oh, Tomer Levy's brother from Portland. He moved to Deerfield. What else did he say here? He says, and things that can be extremely stressful, especially when moving to a new position, the pasuk of Leisechsar Kolboy was especially relevant to us, and needing to remind ourselves of the blessings we have and how we just need to adjust our lenses to see how everything is there. It's like a kid who asks his father for a pocket knife, and instead his father gives him a Leatherman. The kid gets upset because he wanted a knife, and he sees pliers. His father says to him, "Loisechsar, you didn't lose out anything by getting a letter. Kol boy, it has everything. It has a knife, scissors, everything. The saw and 16 other tools. You just have to change your perspective." Anyways, he goes into the Sephardic pronunciation, because yesterday I made fun of Sephardim. I said they say Hadar and Hadar, and he says, no, you have to put the emphasis on Hadar and Hadar. Okay, does he know what he's talking about? You guys are Sephardim. He has no idea what he's talking about. That's what I thought. Okay, and then I got 16 emails from Hasidim, also that Hudar and Hudar is very different. You just have you have to know what it's about, and then you understand what Hudar is. Okay, great. They didn't. Those guys didn't get the joke. Yes.
Chicago wants to know if they got beat yet.
Chicago got beat by. They doubled up here in Los Angeles, of course. How many people do we have here tonight, Rabbi Yisaberach? No. 60 to 70, he said. I think he said even 100. 70 to 80. There's at least 60 people in this room. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagofen. It's again Shlomo and his wine. Okay. Rabbi Yisai, here we go. We are on Daf Lamed Hey Amud Beis by Nitlo Pitmasai. So we know what a pitum is. We think we know what a pitum is. And the Gemara says, Nitla pitmasai Tana Rabbi Yitzchak, 4 lines from the bottom. Tana Rabbi Yitzchak ben Elazar, Nitla buchnasai. So buchna, I didn't have, because I didn't have my computer and I didn't want to trouble. A pestle. You know that little thing that you crush spices with? You grind the spices. So it has a top, it has like a shishana, like a pitum, and then it has the stem. You hold it by the handle, and then it has a round ball. So buchnasai is the handle part. That's what we're talking about. Nitla buchnasai, nitla buchnasai. It's like in this picture right over here. The whole thing fell off. There's another pshat in Rashi that buchnasai means the oikets, the bottom part. The difference is that it came off from within, all the way inside, because there's a dent in the esrog, and it goes all the way in. It came off completely. Niklaf. What does niklaf mean? It was peeled. Omarova. Hayisroiga the iglid. This esrog that was peeled off. Kayihina sumka. Like a red date. Ksheira. Here's a picture. It's pretty weak if you ask me. Anyways, a bad Photoshop job here. A red esrog. So the outer layer is missing ksheira. Niklaf possible, but we learned that if it's peeled, it's possible. Loy kashet, Daf Yomi Amud Aleph. Ha bekula, ha b'miktsasa. So if you think for a second, without peeking in your art scrolls and in the Rashi, if the entire layer of skin came off, is that kosher or puzzle? One case is that the entire layer of skin didn't come off, just part of it. The other case is that the entire layer of skin came off. One is kosher, one is puzzle. Rashi says that if the entire skin came off, then it's kosher. Why? Because at least it looks like a solid kind of fruit. It's one color. But Taisus argues, Rabbi Elchanan argues on that pshat, and he says the reverse. If the entire thing came off, then it's puzzle. And if part of it came off, then it's kosher, and la halacha, we paskin like Taisus. Says the Gemara, nizdak nikav. If it's split or it has a little bit of a hole, taniula bar chanina. Nikav nekev mefulash b'mashu. Okay, this is just a picture of the entire skin color. So if you have, and this is a picture of the part of the skin came off, so according to Rashi, this would be possible because it's like menumer, it's not hadar. It's not nice. How you doing, mister from the hotel? What's your name? Dovi. Where are you from? You live here in LA? What are you doing in the hotel? Stop? Stalking me? Saw the license plate in the front. Very nice. Okay. Another pshat in Amud Sasa. Okay. We're not going to go through all these. Okay. Next. Nikav. So it goes like this. If even a needle goes through and through from side to side, then that's possible. Nikav nekev, toni ula barchanino, nikav nekev mefulosh b'mashu. Even if it's a very, very small item like a needle that goes through and through, here you go, that is possible. There's a question here, very interesting question. It says, if you have an esrog that's dry, and you don't know if you can use it or not. So what do? You take a needle with a thread on it, and you put it right through the esrog, and you pull it out the other way. If it comes out moist, then your esrog is not a yavish, and you can use it. But if you pulled it through and through, that's a nekev mefulish. So how is that kosher? So this is a question that Pri Megadim asks. He says an interesting answer. One of the answers is that you have to do it from bottom to top. Then it's kosher. But if you do it from side to side, it's not. I thought maybe if you do it from bottom to top, maybe you don't notice the two holes. It's more of a, I don't know pshat exactly in that, but that's what he says. Okay. That's the Pri Megadim. Next. B'she'enoi mefulash, and if it doesn't go through and through, then it's the size of an isar. Remember we had that kizuz milel, kisar mil tachas. Isar is the size of a coin. Now, a couple of things here. If it's ki isar, you take a blunt object and you put it through the esrog, even if nothing is missing, says Rashi, then it's possible. Nothing's missing. You just pushed in the skin, whatever you did, you put it into the esrog. It's still there. It weighs the same exact as it weighed yesterday. That's also possible. Now, as the Machlekes Rishonim, Taisus discusses, what if you get, with less than an isar, you hit the, let's see if we have a picture. We do have a picture. Here you go. This is Isar, great. But here's the question, the Machlekes Rishonim is, what happens if you hit the seeds on the inside? You're not. All right, here we go. Now, Yosef Bilyak, by the way, he's on the plane right now. He's the one that edits the video. He's on the plane right now watching the shir. I don't think he's going to be editing the video. But if somebody could tell them, I don't know, in Ramat Bet Shemesh that there's 2 videos, not one, it would be great. So Gary has to know, or somebody has to know. Okay, very good. So where were we? Yeah, so if it looks like this, it goes through and through, that's kosher. Well, Bimashu is not kosher. If it doesn't go through and through, but it hits the seeds, as so, then you have that it's a big problem. Okay. Now, by the way, the Kotzker Rebbe says, we say, Pischuli, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Psachli Pesach kichudish machat. If you just try a little bit, like the size of the hole of a needle hole. And I'll open to you the entire universe, everything, like a hall. All you have to do is try. But the Kotzker Rebbe says it's like this. It has to be mefulash, from side to side, through and through. In other words, it has to be solid. When you make a commitment to something, it should be a very small commitment. Don't go crazy and say, I'm going to learn all of Shas in 2 weeks. A small commitment. The daf, 45 minutes a day. That's it. Small. It's not that much, right? You have the whole day. You work for 16 hours. You forward 45 minutes. But it has to be through and through. It has to be solid. It has to be something that you never, ever give up. Ever. It's like this Gemara, like a mefulash. Pesach, a machat, but mefulash. Okay. We continue on. Says the Gemara, Bayirava. Noldu be'ezrik simani treifa mao. What if we have, when we learned chulin, we know there's 18 simanim or whatever of treifa. Treifa is an animal that's not going to live. Many different defects that an animal has. What if you take those defects and apply them to an esrog? Now, obviously, there's no connection between an esrog and an animal. But the question is, what if we take those defects and we put them in an esrog? Does it create a chisaron in the beauty of the esrog? Is it a problem in hadar? Says the Gemara, for instance, what? In niklaf tanina. We just had a whole sugya of niklaf. Top of the page. Habikula, habimtzas, a little niklaf, a lot of niklaf. In nizdak tanina. And if we're talking about nizdak, now niklaf, you have an animal that lost all its skin, not going to live. What is nizdak in an animal? Says Rashi, the trachea. If the trachea splits, now it's very interesting, we have to see Rashi inside. Rashi nizdak, dainu gargerish nizdaka kula. Kula, says Rashi. Very important. All of the trachea. Now, I did a little arts and crafts on the way here with Harry Shalom's knife. There's two types of nizdak. You have a trachea that's cut from top to bottom, just like this bottle right over here. Now, you don't really see the cut, and if the animal keeps its neck straight, the cut, you see the cut right over here? This cut will close itself and it can heal up. That's what we learned in Chulin, because when you pull it, this is the trachea, it has the ridges, that's what a trachea looks like, and when it pulls, it closes. However, if the cut is sideways, like so, it can't live. Why? Because it's constantly moving its neck, and when it eats or whatever, and it constantly opens up. You can't keep this closed. Fine. But Rashi says kula. In other words, Rashi says, continue on, if in an animal, if you have one vertebrae on top, one at the bottom, that's not a treifa. So some want to learn from Rashi, that applies also to an esrog. Rashi is saying that if an esrog is split from top to bottom, you don't have anything in there, zero. It's a complete 100% tzedek, then it's treif, then it's pasul, otherwise it's not. And that's how we paskin la'alacha based on this Rashi. That if you have an esrog that's split open, but a little bit on the bottom is left, a little bit on the top, then it's kosher. Now, I had a very interesting coincidence, nace, I would say. Yesterday I was bored, and literally, just yesterday, and I went online, and I searched for a shir from Rav Ari Ben Shushan. And what do I find? In the shir, he talks about an esrog. You're not going to believe it, I promise. And he gives a mashal. He says, it's about the journey, says Rav Ari. He's right over here. He's turning colors. Look at this. Right over here. It's Givaldi. I'm not joking. Nobody sent this to me. I found this on my own. He says anybody could go into the store and plop down a credit card and tell the guy, give me an esrog. But it's not about that. It's about the journey. It's about searching, about looking for that perfect esrog. And that's how you mekayim a mitzvah. It's beautiful. And that's what we're talking about over here. I go in the store and I say, I learned in Gemara it says that nizdak, a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top, it's kosher, givaldik. I come to the shul with an esrog that looks like this, literally. Here. You saw my beautiful esrog. Rabbi said it's kosher, you see? But it's not about that. It's about beautifying the mitzvahs. The keli vanveyu is not lefanu b'mitzvahs. The mitzvah has to be beautiful. Beautiful, like he's saying. Work on it. Not stam. Sending a driver over and a credit card, and I got the mitzvah. For everything else, for the car, you go to the shop and you spend hours upon hours in the color, and you do all the reviews and that. The esrog, let my shliach do it. Doesn't go like that. It's about the journey. Yeah? You remember that shir? Oh, beautiful. Toshma. Esrog tefuach. Oh no, sorry. Skipped here. Not quite. This is going to be a long shir. All right. Says the Gemara like this. So, in nizdak tanina. We already learned the halach of nizdak in the Mishnah. In nikav, if it's about a hole, and where do we find the hole by an animal? In its brain. Tanina. That also we discussed. We just discussed today. Nikav, through and through. If it's the size of Isser, not through and through. Taisa says if it hits the seeds, the whole thing. So then what is Rava asking? That what? If, again, it's back to Chulin is very interesting, very cool. This is the lung, and this is the symphonos, and the lung has layers of skin, and inside it has flesh. And if the flesh rots or whatever, just turns into water, kshero. So what happens? So that's a lung. The animal is not treif. The animal could live like that. As long as these, whatever they're called in English, what are they called? Bronchioles. Thank you. Right over here. So what about an esrog? How does that apply to an esrog? Maybe over there by an animal, it's contained, the lung is contained within the animal, and there's no air, there's no whatever you want, outside elements hitting it, so it's going to heal itself. But by an esrig, that the outside elements could hit it, it's gonna spoil. Maybe there's no difference, and it's still hadar, unbelievable. Tashma, esrog tafuach. Not tapuach, not an apple, which is interesting, because later on we're going to talk about an apple and an esrog. But esrog tafuach, if it's a bloated esrog, or saruach, or spoiled, kavush. What is kavush? Kavush means pickled. How do you pickle an esrog? So Rashi says, b'chometz oy b'chardel, with vinegar or with mustard. What's very interesting, because those two things will create a pickled esrog immediately. However, the halacha says, you're not going to believe this. Here we have pictures here before we get there. This is saruach. Ooh, this is nasty, from worms. But if you take an esrog and you put it in water for 24 hours, that's also kavush. Rashi says, because that's immediate. That happens right away. That's a very quick process of pickling. But you can pickle an esrog, so to speak, with water if it's there. So do not attempt to put your esrog in water to keep it fresh, because that's going to make it a pickled esrog. Zok the Gemara, shalok, if it's cooked, kushi, if it's a dark esrog, lavan, if it's white, umenumar, and it's speckled, pasul. All those are pasul. Esrog kekadur, pasul. If the esrog is like a ball, it's round like a ball, here's menumar, it has some spots. Menumar, another one. What is that one? Here's more menumar. A lot of menumars. I schlepped this all the way from Israel. I should have looked. Okay, menumars. Esrog kekadur, round like a ball. This really threw me for a loop today. Why? Because, I like to play ball. I play basketball. And I think I'm going to have to stop. Taisus over here says, Zimmer Maskell on the bottom, Esrog kekadur, possible. Shleima. Osui kimin kadur shalar, it's like a leather ball. Shemisachgois habanois boy. Who plays ball? A bunch of girls. I'm reading Taisus, my friends. Just Taisus. And then he says, and then he brings a pasuk. It's a mafurish pasuk of the Shinon. Dirvei chachamim kedar boinois. What does kedar boinois mean? He brings it from the Pesik Rabbas. It's a medrash. Kadur shel banois shezarkei zuluzu. Kedar boinois means banois shezarkei zuluzu, like a kadur of banois. Unbelievable. Anyways, only girls play ball. Us men, we need to stop playing ball. I'm going to blame it on Taisus, but the true reason is because I didn't play ball for a year and a half. Then I decided to pick it up again, and I still can't walk. I'm limping through the airport. Limping. My hip hurts. My this. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. I might have to quit. It's very, very sad, but it's like anybody that played basketball and had to stop knows what I'm talking about. It's very, very painful. Not physically, mentally. Like you're saying, okay, I'm that age and it's not for me anymore. It's very sad. Okay. V'yesh oimrim afat yoim, a twin. Look at this twin, beautiful picture they put together over here. A tyoim. It's a Siamese twin esrog. Yeah. Well, this one is actually two esrogim fused together. Or this one is a little different. This one is one esrog. You see, it has one oiketz on the bottom, but it has two tops. So I guess Siamese twins also, they have different types. Some of them are attached only on the top, some of them are on the bottom, the whole thing. Okay. Says the Gemara, Esrog ha-boiser. Boiser. So Rashi says that it's a size, like a bean, the size of a bean. Taisus argues because we already discussed sizes. Reb Meir, Reb Yehuda, the size of a walnut, the size of an egg. Where does it come in all of a sudden? The size of a bean. Reb Akiva Paisel, not mentioned. We don't mention Reb Meir, Reb Yehuda. No, just Reb Akiva says it's Paisel Chamachshir. So Taisus says it's the ripeness, the quality of this esrog. Gittel b'tfus. I love this. When I was a kid, I was always fascinated with this. Gittel b'tfus, and I saw this with my own eyes in the pardes where they grow esrogim. if you take, let's say, a bottle and put it on a baby esrog, you have a form. It will grow with whatever you put. You can put it in a box, it'll be a square esrog. So if you do that, the v'asaykim bria acheres, and you made it look like a different type of esrog, puzzle. Now, meaning, I think the Gemara talks about it. If not, we'll say it over here. That if it looks like an esrog, if it has, you have a special bottle that gives it a beautiful shape of an esrog with the gartel and the whole thing, then it's okay. It's just because it's a bria cheres, it looks weird, it looks like something else, then it's possible. So the Gemara wants to prove from here something. One of the things that we learned about is bloated and smelly and spoiled. So this should be like a lung that's suruach mebifnim. It's l'chayre. What are the two different things? Tafuach, suruach. If it's two different things, one is on the outside, one is on the inside. If it's on the inside, it's similar to the case that Rava was asking about. A lung that's the flesh is just liquefied. So this is like an esrog that liquefied in the inside. Loi, that's not the pshat. Both of them on the outside. But loi kashi. One bloated, but it didn't spoil yet. At the end of the day, one is saruach and one is tafuach. One is tafuach, not saruach, and they're different. The bottom line is we could say that that's the pshat, but we weren't poshet Rava's suffix. And in the Shulchan Aruch, he says that the mechaber, so if you're Sfari, you cannot use such an esrog. He says it's puzzle. And he brings the Yeshayim the Tur, who says that it's kosher. And the Gra explains that it's a question of if it's a suffix d'oraisa, and you go to chumra. If it's a suffix d'rabbanan, and we go to kumra, lekula. You hear? The shaila is, the Tur says it's a suffix d'rabbanan, this liquefied esrog in the inside, and therefore it is kosher. The Shulchan Aruch thinks that it's a suffix d'oraisa, and it says it's a suffix d'oraisa, we go to chumra. And then I remembered a joke. It's not such a great joke, but it's kedai to say jokes once in a while. There was a guy that didn't have a rabbi. They asked him, why don't you have a rabbi? He says, listen, whatever I have a problem with, I paskin myself. I go l'chumra when I have to, something that's serious, I go l'chumra. Something that's easy, I go l'kula. They asked him, l'mashal, what? He says, like l'mashal, like the Goya on Shabbos, she put a bunch of, by mistake, she took a thing of butter, she put it in the chalk. So what did you paskin? I paskin that it's kosher. Why? Because tosakum is not a problem. Okay. And so what's the chumrah? So, the chumrah, during the 9 days, that same Gaya, she took one of those strings that my wife cooked the turkey with, and she sewed my pants during the 9 days. So since it's fleishiks, I didn't wear those pants all 9 days. On that I was machmir. That's one of those silly jokes. The point of the joke is that people don't have a rav, they don't have this, they come up with their own silly svaras, and it's very kedai to have a rav. You should ask all your shilas to Rabari over here, Rabbi Sultan. All right, anyway, Zok Gemara. You like that? No? Okay. Zok Gemara, where are we? Yeah, Omar. We just learned. Esrog Kushi Pasul, if it's a black esrog, it's pasul. I like the art scroll. They say Ethiopian. You like that? No shaykhs. No, it's not Ethiopian. It's whatever. I'm gonna get flagged there. But look, it's equal rights. Lavan is also pasul. We learned Lavan is pasul. Black is pasul. But it's not Ethiopian. Don't fall for that trick. That's just PC. Okay. But Tanya Kushi kosher. It says that a black esrog is kosher. What are you talking about? Doimel Kushi pasul. Only similar to Kushi is pasul. Amar Abayo. There's a concept called nidme. If it looks like it's an imitation. Kitnan nami masnisin doimel Kushi tnan. In other words, like this. If you recall, I had this kasha, it was a klotz kasha during, we learned in one of the Mishnayos of Kushi. Rashi brings down that Kushi not only is it black, it grew in Africa, whatever. The pshat is very pashut. If the esrog originates from Africa and it's black, that's how these esrogim grow there. That's the natural color. But if, let's say, it grows in Eretz Yisrael and it's black, that's pasul. An esrog like that is pasul. Why? Because then it's a nidma. Then it's an imitation of the one from Ethiopia or whatever. Says the Gemara, Rabba Amar Asha, Halon v'halahu. If it's in Bavel, Bavel is closer to Africa, says Rashi, which is a big problem because Africa is close to Eretz Yisrael. But Rashi says that it's closer, v'halahu, and to Eretz Yisrael. So, why does Rashi say that Africa is closer to Eretz Yisrael? Everybody talks about it because it's closer to Bavel, because it's a lot easier to get to Bavel, to Iraq, from Africa than it is to get to Eretz Yisrael. You have to go through the desert, the whole thing. So even though in miles, aerial miles might be shorter distance, but to get there is a lot harder. You don't have Shayaris Mitzuyas, the whole thing. And by the time it gets to Eretz Yisrael, it's going to be puzzle. It's an old esrog and it's no good. Esrog HaBoiser, Rebbe Akiva, Poisav Chacham Achshirim. Rebbe Akiva, Rebbe Akiva, who says that this small, tiny esrog is puzzle, he says the same halacha like Rebbe Shimon. Oh, what does Rebbe Shimon say? Rebbe Akiva Hadam Mara, and we just explain what Rebbe Akiva says. Rebbe Shimon, what's the connection? The sign Rebbe Shimon poiter es esrogim mikatna. An esrog is potter when it's small from Trumas and Maisrus. It's too small to give Maisrus. So therefore, Rebbe Akiva, who says a very small esrog is puzzle. For esrog, same halacha. Maiser and esrog are the same. Says Gemara, who said, what's the connection? Perhaps, when we're talking about it, dealing with an esrog, you need a beautiful esrog, hadar. And it's tiny, it's not hadar. But over there, when it comes to meiser, you have to give meiser. What's the connection? Meiser is not dependent on a beautiful pri. If it's a pri, you give meiser. Inami, or let's do the reverse. The reason why he says in a small fruit you don't have to give meiser. We learn it has to be a fruit that's able to produce other fruits. And if it's too small, its seeds are not going to produce it. You put those seeds in the ground, nothing's going to come out. By esrog, he says no. A small, tiny esrog is sure. Turning to Daf Yomi, Amud Beis, sponsored by the White Hilm Group for all those who need. Shiduchim, refuahs, Yeshuas. What was your brother's name? Yoel, what? Yoel Tzvi ben Rivka. Should have refuah shleima, so it should go well. Please join tehillim.8mindav.com. Okay. V'sulay midi. I love it. There's nothing to argue about. It's such a bomb question. There's nothing to compare. There's nothing to talk about. I don't want to hear any answers to my beautiful questions, says Abai. Says the Gemara. Gittel b'tfus v'asoy kimin bria cheres pasul. Yes, here it is in the Gemara Mefurish. If you put your esrog in some sort of box or a glass and it looks different, it's pasul. It has to look completely different than esrog. Ava kibriya asoy kasher. If those guys are smart, maybe they are, and they tried it and it doesn't work. They'll take the most perfect gartel esrog that looks like this and has the whole thing with the ridges, everything. Oh, I like this picture. I'm going to use this soon. Here, this esrog right over here actually has a gartel. You see, this is a gartel. It's indented like that. I don't know that this looks like an esrog. If you ask me, it doesn't, so maybe this is possible. But if it looks exactly like an esrog, kosher. Pshita, what's the chiddush? Kimin bria chersnan. It says mefurish, it has to be like something else. And if it looks exactly like an esrog, it's not like something else. And it's kosher. L'tzricha da'avido dape dape. Oh, this is a great picture for dape dape because they didn't give me a picture of dape dape. Dape dape are these lines. If you put pieces of wood and it has lines in it like this, then it's good. You think it's not good, but that esrogim have these ridges in them. That's pretty natural for an esrog. Therefore, these dape, these things, if you do it and you create them by yourself, man-made ridges, also okay. Itmar. Esrog shenikvo achbarim. You have an esrog that mice came and ate from it. Omarav ein zahadar. Not only, so let's start like this. The pasuk says, "Ulekachtem lochem." You need to have a lekicha tama. When you take an esrog, you can't have any chaser. It can't be missing anything from the esrog. So that is on the first day of Yom Tov. Second day of Yom Tov is different. Now, the second day also has a problem of Hadar. It has to be a beautiful esrog. Says Rav that if you have a mouse, you could tell. I don't think they have this in Eretz Yisrael. It's not that big of a problem. In America, it's a huge problem. Mice. I already went through all the mices. We were building a mikveh in our house in Kensington, and mice started coming out through the mikveh. We had crazy stories there. Not going to go through them. What? But the guys know about the stories already. Chazar is very important. Okay, I'll give you one story. One story. I had a mouse coming in and out of my room. They were everywhere, and the mice are mias. Ugh. So I bought some glue traps, put it in my room. I wake up one day for Shachris, and I take a look to the side where I put the trap. First thing I'm looking, I see a mouse stuck to the trap. He has 2 feet on the trap and 2 feet, and he's going like this, nothing. So, being a yeshiva bacher, I roll over, snooze, go back to sleep. Let that guy do his thing. Anyway, I don't know, maybe an hour around on the floor. I moved from the wall all the way to my bed, and I'm trying to rip this thing off my foot, and it's not going well. It was the grossest thing that ever happened to me. I have a mouse stuck on the bottom of my foot. I remember just scrubbing it and like rubbing my foot off, going into the shower for 2 hours just to get that. I was mias. Anyway, a mouse is mias. I'm thinking now maybe that's why it's called mouse in English. I don't know. It's mias. It's like the same word, same letters. It's disgusting. Forget about chaser. It's a problem, just a miaskite. So it's disgusting, and you don't. Now, very interesting Rashi here. Beautiful Rashi. Rashi is talking about the question later, but if you look at Rashi, Rav, you see Rashi like 15 lines down, 20 lines down. Listen to this Rashi. The ha mitzvah hadura. You need to have a beautiful mitzvah. Why? Rashi explains all of a sudden. Hoyel umaskir shem shamayim. Standing there making a bracha to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're going to have a esrog that a mouse ate from, and you have the bite marks of a mouse. That's proper to talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He gives a new insight to what the problem is. Okay? Says the Gemara, esrog shenekvo achbar mamarav ein zahadar. It's the opposite of beauty. Ask the Gemara. Remember the other day I said a story when my pittim fell off and I bit the esrog in front of the whole shul. This is the Gemara I was trying to be mechaven to. Reb Chanina wanted to make a point. He wanted to show the guys, even if you have an esrog that has a hole in it, on the second day it's okay. There's no problem of chaser. Lekichotam is only the first day. Not the second day. Here, Rabbi Isai, I'm going to make the mitzvah. Now I'm going to take a bite out of it. He ate it. And then the next day he used it again. Why? To make a point. Oh, but what about the problem that if you have achbarim that ate from it, it's not hadar, so what about you? What about the Mishnah? Mishnah says that if a esrog is chaser, it's no good. Says Gemara, it's not a problem of chaser. Can be yom tov rishon and can be yom tov sheni. He did it on the second day of yom tov. El Rav Kashyo. But according to Rav, it's not hadar. You bit into it. It's not hadar. Had to use it the following day. Mice are disgusting. He's the galadar. He's a gadol. Reb Chanina bit into it. It's not disgusting. It's missing a little bit. There's some teeth marks of a gadol, not of a mouse. It's a completely different thing. Now, la halacha, it's very interesting. If a mouse bites into your esrog, you could take a knife, cut around the bite marks, and now you just have a problem of chaser, but you don't have a mouse anymore. Why? It's gone. The disgustingness is gone. You cut around it. People do that a lot. Let's say a mouse eats your chocolate bar. You just cut off a little bit and you feed it to your kid. You don't tell them anything. You yourself, of course, don't eat it, but it's okay. Now,
is it tummy?
What?
Is it tummy?
Tummy. We're all tummy. Mouse, a live mouse is not tummy. But we're tummy. Us living human beings are tummy. So, here's a very interesting thing. Rabbi Yashiv says this. He says that if you have, let's say, I don't know, let's throw out a menumer, I don't know what, a chazazis, something that makes an esrog puzzle. I'm not saying chazazis. Whatever let's pretend chazazis, a bunch of boils on an esrog in a certain way makes the esrog puzzle. And you come and you take a knife and you remove it. And now you don't have chazazis anymore, but you have a chaser esrog. Is that esrog kosher? What do you guys say? If you have a mouse that bites into the esrog and I cut it out with a knife, it's kosher. Can I do the same exact thing with something disgusting on the esrog, a menumer, it looks like a leopard, and I cut it out with a knife? Yes or no? Says Rabbi Yashiv, no. What is the difference? The difference is because over here I had a puzzle esrog. Menumer makes a puzzle. And once the esrog is puzzle, I cannot take a knife and take out the puzzle from an esrog. It's puzzle. But a mouse bite is not puzzle. It's mos. It's something I don't make a bracha to Hashem. Once I get rid of the mos, then I could. Interesting chap. Says the Gemara, some say it a little differently. Zehadar. This is considered beautiful when a mouse eats from it. Because you see the Rebbe Chanina ate from it. What about the problem of chaser? How did he bite from it? I just want to point out that there is a problem to eat from a esrog. That I ate from the esrog, I don't think that was an achila, it was disgusting. Don't ever try it. The only thing worse than me eating that esrog was I once tried to eat an olive off the tree. Don't ever try that. That's a taste that takes hours to get rid of. It's disgusting. Somehow it sticks in your mouth. But an esrog is pretty nasty. So, but how can you eat an esrog? The question is, it's huksel mitzvasai. It's already designated for a mitzvah. You're not allowed to benefit from it. You're not allowed to eat from it. Like we had it with the decorations and all sorts of things. And we said by decorations that if you're boidel from it, you're not boidel from it during Ben Hashmashes, then it's okay. But the Ramah says, don't try to play any games, don't try to make any t'naim. We don't know, we're not bucking making t'naim. So therefore, it's not a good idea to make such a t'naim. And therefore, it will be a problem for us to eat from the esrog during Yanta because it's a mitzvah. It's part of the mitzvah. Anyway, esrog katan. You have a small esrog. So we had egg guys, the size of a walnut, the size of an egg. There's old-fashioned toilet paper. In those days, I mean, think about how they lived in those days. Nebuch. When we had COVID, I was running to the store and buying the toilet paper. What's the problem? You could just use a bunch of stones, like they did. So, sharp stones. You have to be a bucky. Don't. Rabbi say, worse than eating a olive is to use a sharp stone. I don't recommend it. I didn't try it, but I feel the pain already. Anyway, fine. So, Avadim Kruzolis. This has nothing to do with our sugi really. Only the fact is that the Sanya, B'Shabbos, Gimel Avadim Kruzolis, Mutal Achas B'Sakise, there's a concept called Kavod Abrios. The Torah is relaxed when it comes to human dignity, and we allow you to do certain things, so you're not embarrassed. You went to the bathroom, you have to take care of business. So, we don't allow you to carry on Shabbos. That's the Issur D'Oraisa. But what we will allow you to do is touch muktzah, because muktzah is only the Rabbanon. We allow you to touch a stone. A stone is also, you're not going to pick up a stone on Shabbos, it's muktzah. Unless you live in Yerushalayim and you want to throw it on a car. Then it's a mitzvah to throw a stone. But a stone is muktzah. So, we say, we make a dispensation for this extreme case of the Gemara's time toilet paper. You're allowed to use 3 stones. Now, what's the max size? It's interesting because we so this is just a learning, what's the word? A memorization, whatever, to memorize technique. It's the same manda amrim and the same size. Remeir says toilet paper the size of a walnut. Rabbi Yehuda says the size of an egg. But it's the max, the largest piece of toilet paper you can bring in to touch on Shabbos is the size of an egg. By esrog, it's the exact reverse. The smallest esrog you could buy is kibetza or ke'egos. So in other words, you see from here that there's no connection between the toilet paper and the esrog. It's just that you should remember it's the same size. If you want to remember the walnut and the egg. By the way, what happens? Very interesting Shiloh. We had, I just want to, it's good to review this stuff. The Ramah says, we mentioned it a few times. If you have zchus that's going to dry up during Yontif, Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein's brother is sitting right here and he remembered the halacha. Rabbi Yisrael, you should be proud of your brother. You hear Rabbi Yisrael? He's frozen. Okay, what's your first name? Mendy. Menachem Mendel Goldstein says, but Yisrael is staring. Oh, thumbs up. I got a thumbs up. He's here. Top, you want to see? You don't believe me? Here. Top, here. Rabbi Yisrael's right here. He's much shyer than you, Rabbi Yisrael. Okay, anyways, so Mendy remembers this halacha, Gevaldik. You hear this? From the first day, he says, exactly. If you have zchus that on the third day of Sukkot is going to dry up, you're not yoytze zchus on the first day because it has to be roy for 7 days. Here's the question. What happens if you have a beautiful esrog that dries up on the third day? Do we say, oh, it has to be esrog, it has to be, is it like the zchus? It goes back and forth. But I saw a beautiful Chazanish. Chazanish says, amazing. What's the whole problem we learned with a small esrog? The problem is it ripe or not ripe? It's not a problem of hadar. The problem is mevushal. So if the problem is ripe, hey, it was ripe. Why? How do I know it's ripe? Because the size of an egg, size of a walnut. So the fact that it became a half a walnut later on, it's still ripe. So it's a bomb. I don't know why there's even an argument on that. Okay, fine. Anyways, it's just a cool chazanish. Says the Gemara. What? You only need it for 1 day, you're saying? Yeah, okay, but fine. I know. I hear what you're saying. And so what happens in the time of the Beis Hamikdash that you need it for 7 days? What happens in America that you need for 2 days and it happened on the second day? Whatever. And a very large esrog, you have to be able to hold it. 2 hands. It was so large that he carried the esrog on his shoulder. Right? Obviously, if it's on his shoulder, then it's a very large esrog. Don't bring a raya from that story. They yelled at him. They said, "What are you doing, Rabbi Kiva? Why are you bringing such a big esrog into the Beis Hamedrash?" Says the official Mishnah sponsored by official. I don't have the word in front of me. It's here somewhere in the pile, but what? No, but this is emails. I know you printed it for me, shkoyach, but I don't know where it is. To when you tie the adasim and aravas to get to the lulav, it has to be with something from the min, from the lulav, let's say. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Afilu bechut b'meshicha. 1 word, 2 words. The bottom is here. We have a picture. Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be like from a lulav, like this. This is what the Sfaradim do, right? They don't use kosher kloch, they use this. Comes Rabbi Meir, says, what's the problem? You can use this. Not a problem. You can use anything you want. Let's see the Gemara, why, where. In Yerushalayim, they would use another min. Look at this. Gold. I don't know if you could see. The kids are, it's gold. Gold. It's not true. What happened was that either one pshat is they first wrapped it with the lulav, and then on top of the lulav they put some gold to make it beautiful. Or on the bottom was already ugud with the lulav, and then on the top part of the lulav they used gold. Says the Gemara, Amarava. Oh, we gotta finish up in a minute. Amarava. Afilu b'siv, v'afilu b'ikri dedikla. You could use siv, but this is all from the palm tree. It's still considered minoi. Here, this stuff. Okay. How do you explain Rabbi Yehuda that you have to use the same min? And we had this as well. Because Rabbi Yehuda holds you mechuyev to tie the 3 minim together. And once it's involved in that whole process of tying it, now have a chamshamina. Now all of a sudden you have 5 minim instead of 4. How do I know that the bottom part, something that grows on the palm tree, is considered part of the lulav? By the way, I haven't seen this in years. And Baruch Hashem, today, I was driving here in LA and I saw lulavim. It literally, beautiful lulavim. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys are not excited about this. I am. I was like, wow, I'm learning about this. Yeah, where's my camera? A lulav. Even in Eretz Yisrael, you don't see it like that. I don't know why. Like, maybe, I don't know. I just saw, like, it was wide open. It's smack in the center, a lulav. Yeah. The Tanya Sukkah's Teishvu. Listen to this. It's unbelievable. We're going to go through this again, hopefully, maybe tomorrow a little bit, but let's see what it says here. But Sukkah's Teishvu, you should sit in Sukkah. 7 days. Sukkah shakol davar. It seems like anything. The zchus can be made from anything. Crazy. That's why people use for the zchus, they use palm leaves. It has to be from the daled minim. Put some esrogim on top. Put a rovis. I don't care, but it has to be from the daled minim. And have a kavachomer. You cannot check a lulav at night, only during the day. Yet you're limited to 4 minim. Interesting kavachomer. A sukkah which you do use during the night, you're supposed to sleep in a sukkah at night, and certainly the zchus should only be from the 4 minim. Let's stop right over here. Rabbi Say, thank you so much for coming out. Thanks for the chizuk. Have a wonderful day. Shkoyach. Oh, Rabbi Say, we need to do everybody, no shy guys, nobody running, no, don't leave yet. What else? What's this? Oh, that's you? Yeah, maybe. Rabari, you want to say something? You want to say a few words? Be'emes?
Why would we?
Why not?
This is a pretty
We're on the way.
I gotta be honest.
This is Daf Yomi. This is not no original material here. It's Daf. I just said the Daf.
Everybody just sat through the whole thing. I feel bad.
Rabbi Say, picture? You ready? Let's go.